Hello, welcome to Might Be Awesome. My name is Sam Basher. Joining me as always, Mr. DJ Woldridge.
That's
How
me.
you doing?
That's me. I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
we saw John Wick. I'm doing amazing.
Oh yeah, I'm doing real well.
Yeah.
I'm excited to review John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum. Actually, don't know how the breakdown works, but that's the full title.
John Wick, Chapter 3
Hyphen.
Parabellum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I'm excited to talk about it with you guys. This is spoiler-free, so let's dive into it. This is directed again. This is the same as the director of the first two films, Chad Stahelski, and is written by Derek Kolstad, Shay Hatton, Chris Collins, and Mark Abrams, and of course stars the man, the myth, the legend, Keanu Reeves, Halle Berry, Ian McShane, Angelica Houston, Lawrence Fishburne, Asia Kate Dillon, Lance Reddick, and Mark Dacascos, and of course your quickie IMDb synopsis that I didn't read ahead of time. Super assassin John Wick is on the run after killing a member of the International Assassins Guild, and with a $14 million price tag on his head, he is the target of hitmen and women everywhere. Literally everywhere.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good description. I don't know if you needed like a... Do these movies need a description?
Yeah, sometimes.
John Wick kills a lot of people.
Like a light refresh.
Yeah.
Because this movie picks up basically immediately after the second movie.
There's a lot of discussion in the movie like the past couple weeks, and I was like, wait, are all three of these movies supposed to take over the span of 3 weeks? That's insane.
I think it does, because everyone's still mentioning the first dog, which you have to in this series, but everyone's aware of that. Yeah, so this movie's hitting theaters in the U.S. May 17th, which is exciting, and we were able to see this movie ahead of time. Thank you to our people over at Lionsgate. Really appreciate it. And as of recording this, it does not have a Rotten Tomatoes score, but the previous two movies sit around 85 and 87% respectively. And just kind of diving into it, we're going to talk about our positives and negatives like we normally do on this channel. So let us know what you thought of the first two movies and what you expect for this movie in the comments down below. But kicking it off...
And we're going to keep it spoiler-free.
Spoiler-free.
Yeah.
It's also good that we will remind ourselves throughout the whole thing so we don't spoil something. We don't want to ruin it for you guys. So kicking it off, DJ, you're pitter-pattering out of the theater.
Yes.
Maybe you have to go pee, maybe you don't. But what are you thinking?
I love these movies. I will watch these movies forever and ever. This is like... the John Wick movies bring me such joy. And this movie does not disappoint on that front at all. I think I was told you right after we were leaving the movie that they kind of function on multiple levels like video game logic. But the one that made me most think of, I think I was thinking about this because I just played all 4 Uncharted games back to back to back, and so that's a good way of like each video game is like, hey, it has new features now. There's more close combat, or this time you have animal buddies. That's this movie is now like, ooh, new chase scenes. Also, animals are incorporated. Like there's a scene involving a horse. That's amazing. Oh yeah,
it's in the trailer. Actually,
amazing.
All the promotional photos always included this horse photo.
It's amazing.
It's so good. It's genuine. It's amazing. Like, sorry, it's amazing.
It's amazing. Also, Halle Berry is in this movie, and it's great seeing her be a part of this universe. And she has just 2 of the best boys.
Oh, so good.
They're such good dogs.
They're so well behaved. Honestly, I'd take them into a restaurant, take them into a movie theater.
And they might be included. It's tough for me to like rate the action sequences in the movie, but they might be involved in my favorite action set piece in the movie.
Speaking of action, because that's one of my positives, and I'm going to dive into that in a second, but I did want to just quick howdy do to Mark Dacascos, who plays Zero in this film.
Yeah.
And he is he is not the big bad, but he does go up against John many times.
Yeah.
And you see him go up against a lot of people in this movie, and he kills it. Also, I had to figure out where I knew him from.
Yeah.
Host Iron Chef.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Props to him, because this is like common in the second movie where it's like, wow, that's common. Like there's some action scenes where there's no way that's not common, and good for him keeping up. The host of Iron Chef, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean,
he's insane in this movie.
To be fair, he's also in Hawaii Five-0, and he's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so he's in stuff, but also...
I know, but like the fact that he's doing that stunt work just blows my mind.
Yeah, he kills it. Like, he's
literally
amazing in
and
this.
figuratively.
Oh, hot dog.
Yeah.
All right, so diving into it, I just want to say positive up top for me, and just something that this is what I look forward to in these movies, because the first movie didn't do anything to me when I first saw the trailer, and then you realize that this movie is actually, it's on another level. They put a lot of care into it. The second movie was the first one I saw, and I was like, okay, I understand what this is. This is a blast, and I can't believe they're able to up the ante every single time. Yeah. And when it comes, and also, basically, it just comes down to the creativity of the action, because when it comes to these movies, they're 2 hours plus sometimes, and you need to figure out ways to make them more creative. Hence, horse. Enter horses,
horses and dogs,
and sword fights on motorcycles.
We get different locations. We go to Casablanca. We go to the desert.
You have to get international at some point. You can't just go to every single corner of New York. You could, because New York, we find out, is just chock full of assassins. But honestly, the way that they're able to exploit violence in a way that isn't gratuitous, like you are able to have I'm guessing this is an R rating based on how violent this movie is. Just gonna throw it out 100%. There. I have a feeling. Yeah. But at the same time, it's not where it's not that kind of violence where you kind of get tired by it, in the sense of like, oh, you're just doing this because 13-year-olds would be like, dude, it's so cool. No, this violence is used for a slight realism, but also it heightens every scene that you're in because you're like, you don't know what John Wick is capable of, or what his enemies are capable of. And in this movie, his enemies, I feel like they're the most formidable they've been thus far.
Yeah.
And I like that because it makes everything just 1,000 times more difficult. But also in tandem with that, I always appreciate the world building because it's like Hogwarts for assassins. I don't know how
that's a good way to describe it.
I don't know how else to describe it because it's just like
specifically Continental Hotel run by Ian McShane's character Winston.
Because I know we got so excited in those Hogwarts movies, like we're gonna find out about the American school. We never did that. In the movies, we never got to really explore that. So in this, we're like we get to find out how it works in other countries, which is very interesting. And honestly, I just like I was writing this beforehand because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And there's a point where John Wick literally throws his whole bag of tricks at someone. It's like a book of tricks at someone, and I'm like, this is so good. He's literally at his wit's end, and we get to see what a character like that is capable of at that point.
It's interesting after 2 movies of seeing him literally demolish everyone. That at the beginning of this movie, because the second movie ended with he broke the rules of Continental, which was kind of like home base, safe haven for everybody in this profession. But John
you're
Wick
not allowed to
specifically.
tag when you're in jail.
Exactly, and he does, and now everybody's after him, and it's like I honestly don't know how he gets out of this. And so seeing him have to work his way, and it's a great another opportunity for the show to really like tease, because it never really explains itself, which I actually like. It teases out the backstory and the history, and we get a little bit more of John's backstory in this.
A plus B equals C, especially with the introduction of the Adjudicator, who Asia, Kate Dillon. They're amazing in this movie, and I like the role of the Adjudicator because it's just this like, there's no opinion attached to this character. They just kind of come in. They judge the thing point blank, like what happened with John, especially at the end of the second movie. I was going to say second episode because this feels episodic at this point.
It does.
And they're just to the point, and they don't mess around. And it's so cool because of what they're able to utilize in this world of assassins, specifically when it comes to Zero and his whole thing going on.
And they're the closest we get to the high table because there's
we still really haven't gotten there.
Yeah, there's still a mysterious force, but behind the scenes we have an opportunity to learn more about them.
Oh yeah, and
there's room there. There's room there.
And I know there's talk of a video game coming out. I know there's a comic series. There's a lot. And I think a TV show has been teased as well.
I think the TV show is happening. It's called The Continental. I can't remember what network it's on, but I will watch it.
I will watch it as well.
I will watch it. Are you kidding me? I will watch it.
So when it comes to world building and action, this movie it goes above and beyond. It's so amazing what they're able to pull off. But with that, there's a halfway point in this movie. I think basically our first act is just trying to get out of New York, and you realize that there's more assassins than one would think in New York.
To be fair, there are a lot of people in New York.
There are, but on like every alley, everywhere there are people, and you get to learn more of like the function of the Continental and this like network of assassins.
Yeah.
And like that entire sequence of him just getting out and just like it's nonstop. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's a moment where with knives, I'll just say that it's my favorite. It's amazing. I was covering my face. I felt like a child. But there's a point about halfway through, I'd say the second act, where you suddenly start to feel the length of the movie, and I think that has to do with the how long we hang out on action scenes, and that almost sounds counterintuitive to what the movie is. But I did start to feel the length of the movie at certain points during this film because of the action that was happening. When it got back to characters, I'm not saying I'm watching these movies for the characters whatsoever. When it got back to the characters, I was able to kind of integrate into the movie and get more invested again. But then you start to feel it kind of later, where these action scenes like, whoa, that's so cool, and you're like, wow, it's still going. Like this is amazing. You can't fault the production team or Keanu Reeves or the director or anything like that. It's incredible. But as a negative, walking out of this movie, I did start to tune out a little bit.
I think part of that is because it's the third installment, and I think it's starting to show its age as it is, because as sequels, you kind of, once you get further into sequels, you kind of discover the limits of your franchise, and you also start to recycle bits. There's a prolonged action sequence that's really cool in this movie, but it kind of echoes a big action sequence in the second movie, which for me, I think is the high watermark for this series. I think the second movie is still the top of the bar, but I like how this movie, you talked about the characters, and they're there, but the characters, the people in this movie that populate it are almost like textures in an expressionistic painting of what an action movie is. Like, if it was just the dumb action, I don't know. I like that it finds there definitely is a creative undercurrent that makes everything feel cohesive and feel part of this other. It is another world, and there's a scene in the second movie where there's a shootout in a subway where you're like, how do people not know? And then in this movie, it really is like people just don't realize this is happening. There's so much murder going on around them, and they could be going around us, and we're, I guess, not tuned into the wavelength of the murder around us.
And this is such an ingrained part of society that they know how to navigate every little in and out of also social situations and like places. It's amazing how they're able to pull that off, and also I buy it.
Yeah, exactly. And I will, as I agree with you, because you do start, you feel it more this movie, but like I said, the textures and the tone and the world that this movie creates, on top of the amazing kick-ass, just best action in any movie this year, I can almost guarantee it. I will always come back to this for that.
And I want to just harken back to that I agree.
Yeah.
And honestly, when it comes to negatives, it's very small. It's a minor one where it's just at a certain point you're like, oh, we are in an action scene. And and instead of being fully invested. Yeah. But then there's a moment where you're like, oh, that dog did a trick. And you're like, this is amazing. Yeah. Or like, I don't know how he keeps finding clips. But they do enough work in this movie where all of the action makes enough sense.
Props to these movies for making the reloading, like having the reloading be a thing, because it adds so much tension to the scenes because it takes so long to reload. And they do the full, like, and you're like, somebody's going to come. And also, having seen John murder so many people, to still be like, wow, he looks really tired right now. I don't know if he's going to make it out of this. I don't know if he's been hit by 2 cars and shot twice and stabbed. I really don't know how he's going to get out of this.
There was a moment where he just keeps getting knocked down, like within, like he gets up, someone pushes him through something, gets up, another person pushes him through something. It happens, I think, like 8 times in a scene, and it's like comedically, it's really funny. But I'm like, man, I fell downstairs, like 3 stairs one time, and I laid there for like 10 minutes. I couldn't get up.
Yeah.
So props to him, but also, man, I know this is 3 weeks. You have to stop at a certain point.
I shout out to all the great, amazing actors they get to like fill out this world. Like Lawrence Fishburne is back, and he's just amazing in everything. He plays the Bowery King.
He's crazy.
Yeah, I love it. Crazy. I love it. We don't have an asset for him, but Jason Mantzoukas is in this movie, and he's great. Lance Reddick is great in everything, forever and ever. Amen. I want him in every movie for all time.
Oh yeah, and Ian McShane.
Yeah, Ian McShane always. Yeah,
it's just, and there's
highlight of Hellboy 2.
There is a scene where it's just Ian McShane sitting down, and he answers the phone call and immediately hangs up on the person. I'm like, oh, so cool. Yeah. He has like brandy in a cup, dog sitting next to him, and you're like, oh,
he's so cool.
Why is he so cool?
He's so cool.
But boiling it all down, like we kind of went over all of our points. I'd say positives walking out of this movie is the creativity of the action and the world building. Yeah. Because every time a character is introduced, you're like, oh, of course. Like logically, yes, this character, the adjudicator, that has to exist
in this world,
or the elder, the TikTok man. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
This is all great. I have made sure I use just the names and not explain any of it because it's confusing just by itself. So you'll have fun figuring out what those are. But when it comes to negatives of this movie, I think you can start to feel the length. I think you, like you said, you can kind of feel the edges of this, of what they are capable of doing. And I think that this creative team has the chutzpah to like revisit what they've done so far, reinvigorate it, and give us something amazing for a possible sequel. Which I feel like this movie's going to get a sequel too.
Yes.
I hope it does.
And I will be there.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of thought like maybe they'd wrap it up for this one.
I thought so too,
yeah. But if they do another one... Yeah.
Like going out like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, like going out and like whatever.
Yeah, but I'm in for as many as they want to do. Like if this ends up being like a Rambo or something, or Terminator, where it's like, here's sequel number 7. I'm in. I'm going to be there. I'm sorry. I'm going to be there.
Just don't go time travel, please. Please.
Or maybe. So, Sam, What's our? We always like to have a fun rating system for these movies.
You guys love it.
Yeah. What should be our rating system for this one?
I think I saw 100 knives thrown.
Yeah.
Like
there's
thrown.
one scene, I believe it's in the trailer, where there's a significant amount of knives being thrown.
Like all over the place.
Yeah. So out of 100 knives, I would give this. 100's actually super easy. I would give it an 85. Which is a B plus. No,
hey,
no. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's significantly too low. What am I even saying? I give it a 90, an A minus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I give it an 85.
Yeah.
I give it an 85, and it's like a strong B. It's
Yeah.
like a full, strong B. Good, and that's not a bad. I don't think this is a bad grade whatsoever.
Yeah.
I just think that you kind of start to feel the edges a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the second one is my favorite out of the trilogy so far. Give me a fourth. Give me a TV series. Give me a comic. Give me a video game. I want all of it. I don't care. I will buy all of it. I will spend my money to invest in this franchise. I think enough people have said this that I'll just repeat what they say. It's great to have an original IP like this be so popular and continue to grow. So I would love to support that in any way I can.
Yeah.
Amazing acting from the entire cast. The stunt team deserves an Oscar, honestly, because I don't know how they pulled off a lot of bullets and guns really close to heads.
There's actually that involves one of my favorite little stunts in it, but that's a spoiler, so I won't discuss it here. But if you check out the movie, let us know what you think. Let us know what you thought of the other movies in the franchise. Also, be sure to check out our other reviews this week because we talked about Detective Pikachu, which is totally a very different movie.
Interesting.
And Sam did an amazing job breaking down what it would be like to have a Pokemon in your house like a pet.
Oh yeah, it was a fun one, and it's animated, and you'll enjoy it. I promise. You can hold me to it. I promise. But gang, like this video, subscribe to Might Be Awesome for more content, and check out patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. What? That's a different name? Yes, because we have a podcast called Only Stupid Answers. Go check that out. We got a bunch of fun content for you. You have no idea how much content we make for you. You have no idea.
You have no idea.
It's so much.
Unless you go to patreon.com/onlystupidanswers.
Boom. I'm at Sam Basher.
I'm at DJ Talks Trash.
And Might Be Social everywhere that matters. And until next time, gang, we'll see you then.